in just outside of Moab, Utah, and we're going to Salinas with a load of premium gasoline. So the prices of fuel right now, maybe we'll pick up an armed escort at some place, but we don't want to end up in a Mad Max movie here. But let's hop inside. It's pretty, yeah, windows are down. Pretty noisy at this rig. And let's get this thing on the road. I used to work on oil rigs as a mechanic a long time ago. Triple, pretty much like this one. At 70,000 pounds, I believe, of premium gasoline on here. I was mentioning the other day in a video that I wish they had the capability to haul fuel, and they didn't, but this is a mod trailer, and it comes with the jobs, so it adds them to the jobs list, which is nice. Outside here, we've got the K100 VIT with DD60 from Moab, and we've got it's Tyrone booths, or Tyrone's booth paint shop, I guess he calls it. He does skins and stuff, but also has mods. Yeah, the happy result is we have a nice fuel tanker here. Running the Dayton wheels again. I just never took them off this truck, and this is the one we ended up hopping back in for this trip, so that's what we got. Yeah, that's got a deal working on the rigs. Being a mechanic, it wasn't like I had a 2 weeks in, 1 week out deal. They tried to keep me there as long as they could, and I don't think I was ever in less than a month. I think the longest I was ever in was 6 weeks, and yeah, 6 weeks without any time off. You're out in the bush with this rig and rig crew and the constant noise. Like that was pretty quiet back there. That drilling rig's noisier than that, and at least, you know, back in the day when I was doing it, it wasn't diesel or electric.
Yards, turn right.
It was all diesel. And up on the floor, right, in the pump shack or pump house, running the generator, running the accumulator. Oh, we'll let this guy go here. So it was really noisy, but I remember, you know, I was up in the Swan Hills area, northwest of Edmonton, and I drive up there in my Chevelle. Chevelle wasn't a very good rig car because I had headers on it and everything, and I don't know how many sets of headers I went through because the roads were built into the rig specifically for that purpose. I'll put the windows up here. And they were paved, I guess, in what you call Texas pea stone, what we used to call it. Great big. It was rough. Anyway, yeah, they'd be coming up and, you know, closing off the bottom tubes on the headers. I think I remember over a 3 or 4 month period I put on 2 sets. headers. But the noise and the isolation, like being out there, and you know, I'd go to the local town every now and then with the rig truck to pick up parts or whatever I needed. And other than that, you're on the rig, and it's isolation and noise and this constant environment. And I like driving, but man, I get back in my car after 5 weeks, drive back to Edmonton, and I lived on the east side of Edmonton at Sherwood Park, and I would drive all the way around the city. I wouldn't drive through it because it was just so, shell-shocked or unaccustomed to the traffic, to people, to things moving by quickly.
Yards, turn left.
Because you're on the rig, you're on your own little world fixing stuff, with your head in it.
Turn left.
Nothing moves fast, and you get out in the world, and it was quite different. Be out there for a week, just long enough to get human again, and then go back. But I was young. It was a good experience. This guy's coming up to, gave it up. Yeah, it was good working on the rigs in a lot of ways. Got to do some pretty cool stuff, and actually ran the lead tongs. I don't know if I mentioned this before. Like when I drove out to the rig for my first day in the job.
Keep left. After 50 yards, turn left.
Pulling up to the rig, and I'm about a mile away, and I see a helicopter flying away.
Turn left.
And I go, oh, what's that about? Sure enough, they're flying out a roughneck who probably mashed his hand, if I remember correctly, because that's what would happen when you're running the tongs. A lot of hand injuries. And so anyway, I show up, report into the tool push, and he goes, well, I'm glad you're here. We got lots for you to do, but you're going up on the floor, and they'll show you how to run the tongs. You're going to be a roughneck till we get somebody else. And back then, it wasn't like people were lined up at the door. Like the oil field was busy, and they were needing people all the time, so they didn't get anybody in for 2 weeks. So I was running tongs for 2 weeks, and I was fairly early on in the hole, so they'd just finished doing what they call spudding in, where they go through the soft soil. Or actually, they were almost done, and when I started, they were still on the soft soil. It was summer, it was hot, and they were using water instead of the mud slurry that they put down the center of the drill stem to lubricate the bit and bring up the debris. And so they were using water, and every time you'd separate the pipe, you'd pull up the traveling block at the height. I'm trying to say. Anyway, they disconnect the pipe from the. I can't remember the name of the coupling is. Disconnect it, pull it up, throw in another section of pipe. Bring the. It wouldn't be a section; it'd be 3 because it was a triple. But anyway, yeah. We would anyway. Actually, sorry, I'm getting you all confused. When you're changing bits, you're pulling them out 3 at a time. When you're spudding in, you're adding 1 pipe per section, so you're doing it a lot, and you're going through it fast. And using water, when you break off the pipe, they pull it away, and there'd be a big gush of water come flying out. And that was, I remember that being a bit of a treat because it was so hot, and just getting flooded with water all the time. But when you're drilling with the mud later on, and you're drilling. You have a catch can and you put it around that joint, and it has a tube in it that takes the eruption of drilling mud away to goes out the shale shaker into the tailings pile. But yeah, it was a good experience, like I say. Uh-oh. Missed a shift there. Should be looking outside here at all this scenery out there. Pretty good view up here. That was interesting times. Uh-oh. That was back in the days when the shift was 12 hours. So it was, yeah, it was busy. Yeah, it wasn't that long after I was off the rigs that they changed the from two 12-hour shifts. So the way it worked was a crew would come in. Oh, look at this. That's cool. Look at that. So a crew would come in for a 2-week shift, and they would start on days, and then they would go to nights for they'd switch to nights for the last 2-week shift. First week is days, second week is nights, and they're 3 crews. So there's a crew off for a week, and a crew on days, crew on nights, and it would work out. They would work 2, off 1. And there was a lot of injuries, I tell you, and they always came late in a shift. Well, not always, I can't say that, it's not true, but I'd say the majority would come late in a shift when guys are tired, and they're not paying attention, they're weak, I guess. You get kind of tired. If you're tripping pipe out of the hole, it's constant. If you're running the tongs, it's just go, go, go. And you're ripping that pipe out from miles of pipe coming out of the ground, and you're breaking it off at every 3rd coupling on a triple. But it's a heck of a lot of work, and it's like that repetitive thing. It's the same thing over and over and over. It doesn't change, and it's easy to get sort of like I found. I don't remember that I ever. Like we had to trip pipe out because they changed from a spudding bit to a drill bit. I remember that. But, it was over in a flash because we were up near the surface. So I didn't get the experience of the tripping pipe out from a great depth. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff. I won't bore you with it too much. Oil rig stories. I got a few of them. But yeah, this tanker comes with a template, so meaning I could probably put a paint job on it. Gotta look into that. I just love this driving around in the desert. I don't know if the people here qualify this as desert or not. It sure looks like it to me. I'm a snowbound Canadian. Everything looks like desert at this time of year. keep hitting my high beam switch somehow. Yeah, I feel the weight. Got a good load on there. A Mac. I don't know what that model of Mac is called. The big chrome front end. It's like all grill. The whole front of the doesn't have like the little horseshoe grill like this thing has. Interesting notion.
Keep right. After 50 yards, exit right ahead. Exit right ahead.
Sorry, I'm off in La La Land thinking about the rigs. And I'm trying to think of when that was. So I would have been...
Keep right. After 50 yards, exit right ahead.
I guess I was about 20...
Exit right ahead.
23 years old. Some merry youngster.
After 100 yards, turn right. Turn right. After 50 yards, turn right. Turn right.
I wonder if I've ever been down here before. This doesn't look familiar. Historic Cove Fort. Interesting. Look that up, see what it is. Yeah, when I worked on the oil rigs, that was, trying to figure it out. That was, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, when I went to Edmonton, when I first got there, the idea was to go out and work in the oil rigs or
After 100 yards,
welding
turn
or
right.
something. And I ended up working as a machinist. Then I went out to the rigs. And when I figured out everything I wanted to figure
Turn
out there,
right.
I came back to Edmonton and went machining again. Back to the civilization. But I was just curious. I really
You have
wanted to
reached
see
your
what the rigs
destination.
were about. And one way to do it is get on them. Oh, this is really weird, eh? Just straight onto the dot here? Is that right? Wow, I guess so. Oh, shut the engine off. That's an interesting deal. Just pull up and gonna unload the fuel right here. Well, there you have it, guys. The old K100 rubies. I don't know about doing an Alberta or Flatbed Brothers tanker. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it does say big or small. We haul it all. I don't know. See. We'll see. Anyway, take care. Thanks for following along. Appreciate it.